Welcome to More Fanime. I am your fan of more anime. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing fantastic, if you were wondering, because today we will be discussing another versus video involving a Naruto character. In this corner, Choji Akimichi. Am I saying that correctly? This fella is a badass, and he is from the Naruto franchise, and he could put up a hell of a fight, I promise you that. And in this corner, Chopper, Tony Chopper to be precise. This guy hails from the One Piece manga, one of the greatest mangas of all time. These two are gonna go head to head here today on More Fanime. Who do you guys think will win? Please comment down below right now before you continue this video, because I am curious your thoughts on these two. I love the Naruto franchise and I love the One Piece franchise, two of my favorites of all time, and I'm assuming some of yours as well. Chopper and our boy Choji kind of have some similarities in the way they fight, if you didn't realize it. I mean, Chopper uses the Rumble Ball system, and our boy Choji has been known to use food pills. I believe that's what they were. The first time we saw food pills, they were used by Kiba, I believe, in the Chunin exams. And then they were used once again when our boy Choji went head to head with Jimbo or some shit, the guy from the Sound 4. In a badass fight, emotionally driven badass fight, where he was able to use those food pills to unlock his butterfly mode, where he gets all skinny and badass looking. Then our boy Chopper, like I mentioned, uses the Rumble Balls to help him enhance his already powerful Zone Fruit abilities, and he obtains more forms by using these Rumble Balls. And by the way, if he also takes 3 of them, like Choji takes 3 food pills, Choji transforms into a butterfly man, and our boy Chopper goes into Monster Point and becomes a giant reindeer werewolf creature. But our boy Choji can also grow in size. And I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't get any accurate numbers on how big these bad boys can get. But I'm assuming from just watching the animes of both of these two characters, from what I can tell, Choji seems to be able to get a lot bigger than Monster Point, but it could just be a perspective thing. Either way, both these guys have the ability to get bigger when they need to, which is pretty cool. I mean, Chopper does have more of a utility of transformations, and I think that Chopper is much more of a strategist in battle than Choji. I mean, remember when we first met him, he was using those Rumble Balls and he was like lining up plans or something. He doesn't do it as often as he used to, but he would like snipe them in a way with strategy, and he'd be like, okay, well, how do I do this? And he'd line his hands up, his cloves up, and he'd figure out what to do to win the battle. And I always thought that was really cool. And I do truly think that Chopper and Choji would be a really good fight. If you watched my last versus video of Usopp and Shikamaru, you will know that's where this idea of Chopper and Choji came from. I was thinking about it and I was like, I wonder who would be the best matchup for Choji. And then I was thinking, it would be kind of cool if Usopp, Nami, and Chopper teamed up to take on Shikacho in a 3-on-3. I should do a video about that sometime. I must do a Ino versus Nami at some time. I think that would be interesting as well. But this is not that video. This is Choji versus Tony Chopper. Tony Chopper has the ability to transform at will without the Rumble Balls, other than when he goes into his Monster Point form once he gets to the new world. He masters his Monster Point form where he can actually control it. I personally think he was more dangerous when he couldn't control it, because he smacked the shit out of the CP9 agents when he transformed at Enies Lobby. And Choji, when he uses his third food pill, he does get relatively strong, and I would assume strong enough to hold his own with Monster Point. But I don't know if he could win against Monster Point. Right now, I'm talking pre-time skip for both these characters. We'll get to the time skip after. Choji does pull out some magnificent moves against Jimbo fella from the Sound 4. And he does get strong, and he shows that he can use the expansion jutsu where he can make himself relatively big. At the time, I would say he was no bigger than Monster Point, maybe a little smaller, at least when he was a kid. And the dude comes in with a giant partial expansion jutsu where he slaps down, which is also a bait-ish move and would be useful against Chopper. But I think Chopper is so smart, he could dip, dodge, and duck out of the way from those minor moves. And plus, when Chopper goes into his more buff, human-like muscle form, he might be able to just give Choji the old 1-2. But our boy Choji, he went through ninja school. He spent a majority of his childhood preparing for battle, whereas Chopper spent a majority of his life either being a really sad reindeer with a blue nose or training to learn how to be the best doctor of all time. And the advantage could go to Chopper in that way as well, because if he did get injured by Choji, he might have to do some quick doctoring, because Choppers always be doctoring, and he might fix himself up, whereas if Choji takes some damage, he's got no teammates in this battle. There's no healing happening here. There's no medical ninja in this 1v1 here. We have two badass fighters, but Chopper's got that healing ability. He's the white mage of the Straw Hats, and he is very good at that. If you've seen how much damage he's helped people like Usopp recover from in a short period of time, like he did in Alabasta after they fought Mr. 4 and Miss Christmas. But Choji did go head-to-head with teammates, by the way, but against a really strong ninja in his old teacher, Asuma, and when he was reincarnated. But I'm also thinking right now, could Asuma beat Chopper? Maybe. He's pretty tough. He's got those blades, but I don't know if Asuma could compete with Monster Point Chopper. So this is a 1v1, so Chopper doesn't have to worry about hurting anybody. I'm talking pre-time skip, so he has no control of Monster Point. But I have a feeling if he was forced to pull out Monster Point, I don't think that Butterfly Choji could win. And if Choji decides to pull out Butterfly mode at a young age before he mastered it, he could potentially die. It's kind of similar to the 8 Gates, and the only reason he survived was thanks to Tsunade being a really good medical ninja. So Choji wouldn't pull out his butterfly mode unless he absolutely had to, and I don't know if just expanded Choji, who could probably match Monster Point's size and maybe its strength, but Monster Point was so strong. He was an unstoppable force. But this is Choji. He's an immovable object. These two would probably, grab hands and sumo each other a bit. So the thing is, could Choji match the power of Monster Point? Because I think that if he used his expansion jutsu and was giant, I don't know if Chopper could keep up with him. Also, what's the time limits here? Our boy Monster Point has a time limit for sure, but it seemed to last a while during the Enies Lobby arc, so this might end up coming down to who's got the most endurance in these transformations. And if they both run out of time from their expanded forms, Chopper, when he's done using Monster Point, he can't move for a long period of time, so he's done. I believe Choji could get up, even if he can't use any jutsu, pull out a dang kunai, by the way, he's got a utility of weapons, of ninja weapons, and just start stabbing, just start stabbing and win the damn day. Also, Choji could pull out his butterfly form, which could very much help if he transformed into that. I would not be surprised if he's in his butterfly form, if he could come up and just right hook Monster Point Chopper, even if he's in that form. But do you consider that a victory? I personally do consider that a victory, but Choji would probably die. No one says that after the fight that Choji can't get medical attention. But this is a one-on-one fight. Nobody's there to back him up. He could potentially die, but he did win the day. I would have to say, pre-time skip, Choji wins this battle. Do I say that Chopper could also win this battle? Oh yeah. But I think that Choji would have to push himself to the point of probably dying due to the third food pill. And if Chopper couldn't get the job done as Monster Point form, I'm so torn, because I do think that if he went Monster Point, I do think that if he got a good backhand onto Choji, he could knock that boy out, knock him silly, before he could even go into butterfly mode. I would even say, pre-time skip, they're very even. And Chopper does have the advantage in his mind, where, Choji is emotionally driven, but he doesn't have Shikamaru to tell him what to do all the time. He doesn't necessarily need a retainer to tell him what to do every moment of every day. But in a battle, if you got Shikamaru's mind behind Choji, ooh yeah, he wins that battle 10 times out of 10. But without Shikamaru there, these are very even. I could say any day one could win and one couldn't. It would just depend on if Chopper would have some time to game plan, if he could do the little hoof thing, do some rose hoof attacks, or whatever they were called. He might be able to put some major damage onto Choji. Man, I'm going to say right now, at least pre-time skip, tie. Let's go into time skip, though. This is New World Chopper from where he is right now in the story. And this is Choji at the very end of Naruto Shippuden. Going at it at their fullest peak, from the peak of their current status in the story, not counting any Boruto information for Choji. This is just his peak in Shippuden versus current Chopper. Chopper hasn't necessarily got too much stronger, in my opinion, since he came to the New World. He has obtained the ability to control Monster Point. If he could push Monster Point even further into like a double version of Monster Point, he could probably win. And Choji, after fighting Asuma, finds a way to control his butterfly mode without the repercussions for some reason, just because he can. Choji has a lot of hidden potential. Chopper does have these skills, but he hasn't really gotten a lot of major screen time in the New World to show them off, really. He's kind of the background character. He kind of is the sidekick to Usopp, and Usopp is kind of not necessarily the strongest character either. Usopp did defeat Shikamaru in my previous Versus video, so there's no saying that Chopper couldn't win this battle. But Choji's a tank after he fights that giant statue thing. I can't remember the name of it, that 9 tails or 10 tails statue. When he goes head to head with that and actually holds it off, that's some pretty big shiz. Where I don't think it's been a while since we've seen Chopper do something that would match up to that kind of raw power that Choji can produce, and it's much more. I don't think he has as small of a time limit. Plus, without the repercussions, I mean, I got to imagine when he goes into the butterfly form at will, that there is some form of repercussions, but they're not as bad as when Chopper goes into his Monster Point form, where he's got full control. But I think he only has like 3 minutes. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I think he's only got 3 whole minutes. And if Choji just has to endure, he is a wall. He is an immovable object. He will take that pain until Monster Point runs out, and then Chopper is completely helpless. Then you gotta bring them down with the partial expansion fist. And you're done. You're done, son. You're done, Chopper. And, Chopper's not my favorite Straw Hat, but he's a damn good character. He's got a better character than Choji, personally, plot-wise, I would have to say. I love both of these characters probably equally. I got emotionally driven for Choji's fight with Asuma, and I got emotionally driven multiple times for Chopper, just because Oda's such a great writer. I do think, though, I do believe that he could not keep up with Choji. I do believe there are plenty of One Piece characters who can take out Naruto characters, and we're on our journey here to find out who. But from my personal opinion, which only matters to me probably, I think that Choji's got this one in the bag. I think pre-time skip, Chopper actually could win. Because he's got that raw power, and he was uncontrolled, uncontained. But since the time skip, he's kind of reduced that for me. I think, yes, he's got the power of Monster Point, but he's not, using 100% of it because he's not rabid. And if he had his rabid form, and now that he's a little bigger, a little older, and he was just a monster, as the name is, entails, he could probably eke out a win. And I still think if he strategically plans it properly in the new, he might win 3 times out of 10. But I gotta say, Choji probably wins this 7 or 8 times out of 10. And he can compete with some pretty tough SOBs. And especially, like I mentioned, if he has Shikamaru behind him, buddy, I think for sure the winner of this fight, Choji. Oh yeah. Please comment down below and let me know if I'm wrong, because I think a lot of people assume that Naruto characters are stronger than One Piece characters, but I don't think so. And then some of these characters aren't OP as shiz like Sasuke and Naruto, but there are a lot of really great strategic fighters in One Piece that might be able to eke out a win against characters that might necessarily be stronger, but I just can't imagine Chopper, who's more of a healer type, would be able to take down an attacker defensive type like Choji. I don't think so. Choji wins this battle for sure. I can't imagine. Please comment down below and give me proof otherwise, because I just can't imagine. Maybe I'm just not remembering the powerhouse that Chopper can be. But I more recently watched Chopper's transformations than I did Choji's. So, and I still don't think that he could compare. I'm here to let you know my thoughts on this battle, and that's where they are. That's where it lands. Choji wins. This is more Fanime. Please comment down below. Please let me know. And subscribe. I'll talk to you later.